Hello everybody, this is Rebecca from Trump TV, and I hope all you Trump supporters out there are doing fantastic. I'd just like to share something that happened to me earlier today that was rather unexpected. I just happened to be going to a medical clinic to drop off some paperwork. And as I went into the waiting room and sat down, there were a couple of old women sitting over at a couple of seats, maybe a couple of rows away from me, and they had their backs turned towards me. So I was sitting down there waiting for the person to call my name. And I noticed their conversation. They were talking about President Trump, and they weren't just talking in a regular voice, they were really super loud. And as their conversation went on, they started to talk about the Boy Scout rally where President Trump spoke to that large group of Boy Scouts. I think it was about 45,000 that attended. And if you remember at the beginning of the speech, President Trump asked them who the hell wants to speak about politics when I'm in front of the Boy Scouts, right? So basically what they were talking about, they said that they were absolutely shocked and appalled that the President of the United States would use profanity in front of a group of Boy Scouts. And, you know, we're not talking about major profanity here. And I'm sure most of the Boy Scouts there in the audience were probably, you know, probably teenagers, right? So I'm sure they heard the word hell before. But it just amazed me. I was just sitting there as they were rambling on, and then they got off on some other tangent about what a horrible person President Trump is, and he's just this and he's that, and it went on, and I was just sitting there shaking my head going, I can't believe that these two liberal old women are sitting there freaking out over the fact that President Trump said the word hell in front of a group of Boy Scouts. So then they got on the subject of diversity and being all accepting, and they were saying that, you know, we live in a time where people should have the right to do whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, and we should be accepting of that. Totally accepting of everything, of all of the diversity, of anyone's choices, and they should have the right to do whatever they want to do. And then they got on the subject of abortion. And I'm still sitting there, and I'm thinking, these people are out of their minds. And so she goes and makes the comment, you know, we're really just like animals, and we should have the right to kill our children anytime we want, for any reason whatsoever. And we have to make sure that abortion is legal and safe, available to anyone at any time for any reason. And the woman is agreeing with her, and they're going on and on and on. And finally I had enough, and I turned around to them and I said, abortion is murder. And I said, you should have no right to kill the innocent, to kill the unborn. It is murder. And she said, excuse me? We were talking over here. And I said, well, excuse me. I said, but you are invading my airspace. You're speaking loudly, and you are offending me. And there's no way that I can keep from hearing what you're saying, and I'm offended by it. Abortion is murder. And they just kind of like gasped at what I was saying. They were very shocked that I was being very offensive by that statement. And then she said, well, what about if a child is molested? And I said, let me tell you something. If anyone molests a child, rapes a child, murders a child, harms an innocent child, a baby, they should be executed. Hands down. Executed. The death penalty for all child molesters, rapists, murderers of children, people who harm the innocent, especially the unborn, babies, innocent little children. They should be executed, hands down. And I said that would be a deterrent. That very thing would be a deterrent to such behavior, because then people would know that they would have to pay for their actions. And that goes for abortion doctors and those that are participating in the murder of the unborn. And they were just totally shocked by what I was saying. And this is the thing, you know, we need to stand up for the rights of the innocent, of the children, of the unborn, of those millions and millions of babies that are being slaughtered for the sake of convenience. And they were just really, really shocked that I would actually turn around and speak my mind and speak the truth. They were appalled at what I was saying. Oh, and then what about if you can't take care of the child? There's so many children out there and they're not properly taken care of. And I just told her, I said, if you have no plans on how to take care of a child, if you're not able to take care of a child, give them up for adoption. Or even better, stop prostituting yourself and putting yourself in a situation where you get pregnant. How about that? Stop prostituting yourself, men and women. If you can't handle a pregnancy, if you can't handle a child, stop using abortion for a method of birth control. And then they got really quiet, and there was total silence. Total silence. And then they started whispering a little bit, but they did not speak loudly enough for me to hear them after that. And then right after that, the person opened the door and called my name, and I went back and did my paperwork. But that's just an example of the blindness and the stupidity of these evil liberal people, that they demand their abortion rights, that they're totally blind to the truth. They're totally blind in regards to the job that President Trump is doing. And I also said, before I went inside, I said, President Trump is the best president that we've had since Ronald Reagan. And I made sure that they knew that. Because he is. He absolutely is. He's done more in the first 6 months, like he has said. The facts speak for themselves. Look up the record. Look at all the issues that he is covering. The long list of issues. Everything that he's taken care of. He's doing his campaign promises. He's covering it across the whole spectrum. He's doing it day by day, one issue at a time. He's taking care of business. And it's true, he has done more in 6 months than any president in history. The facts speak for themselves. And it just amazes me that these liberals are so incredibly stupid and insane. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea why they're protesting. They don't even, I don't even think they realize why they're demanding to kill children like they're doing. It's just, it's unbelievable. And so the stupidity is so apparent when I sit there, when I'm just going into that office and I'm minding my business and I'm listening to the conversation. I'm shocked at the stupidity of these people. The time that we're living in is absolutely mind-blowing. And the opposition that President Trump is under right now, from both parties, from the media, from the shadow government, from the Illuminati, more witches are casting spells. It's just amazing. And the plot that was recently talked about, according to a Republican congressman, that there was a plot on Capitol Hill to take out the president. You know, George Soros, I mean, that's to be expected from people like George Soros and Obama and the Clintons, because they basically murder everyone who gets in their way. And the thing that surprises me the most, and you really expect this from the Democrats because they're all out of their minds, okay? But from the rhinos, from the Republicans, so many Republicans that are in office right now that don't even want President Trump there. And a lot of them got elected. They rode on the coattails of the president to get where they are. And for them to not stand up for the president, you know, people like John McCain and these people, Lindsey Graham and others that are higher up in those high positions, that are basically there because that is their, you know, their career politicians. Or they're for the Republican Party, or they're all for this agenda, and the Republicans are not, they're not standing up for conservative principles. They're wimping out. And it's just amazing to me. It is amazing to me that one man like President Trump has so much opposition. His life is being threatened. Yeah, they're talking about impeachment, and then you have all of these people on the streets protesting. These paid protesters still. And how he is able to do the job that he's doing is absolutely amazing to me. And again, he's not a perfect man. You know, there's a couple of issues that I don't agree with him on. But I've never seen any one person have so much opposition and be able to hold up under that amount of pressure and to put in the hours he does and the work he gets accomplished. It's just amazing to me. The most important thing that we can do as conservative Christians is keep President Trump in prayer. Because I do believe that God put him in office miraculously as president for a time such as this. And it's just a wake-up call to all of us as Americans. We have a choice. We have a choice to stand up as American patriots and do the right thing and support the president. We have a choice in 2018, if the Lord should tarry, to put the right people in office. We have a choice to replace the rhinos and the liberal Democrats and the people that are obstructionist. To tell you the truth, I'd rather have somebody in office like Ted Nugent or Kid Rock or something like that, who is an American patriot, I really, what is the point in being in office if you're going to constantly, if you're just in there to have a political career, or to be in there for 30 or 40 years and just year after term after term after term? You're like 90 years old and you're still there. It's time for some new blood. It's time for America First patriots to make their voices known, and out on the street, your blue collar people here, like myself, make your voices known. Get out there on the street and make your voices known. And elect people that are like-minded people that are going to support the agenda of the president. And thank God the president has a Christian council, a group of men around him that pray for him in the Oval Office. That is the most powerful weapon of protection. That is more powerful protection than any military, than any Secret Service protection, is the protection of the God of the universe. So thank God for the Christian council that is around him. And again, the best thing we can do as American patriots and Christians is keep him in prayer on a regular basis. Because without that hedge of protection, he's in danger. We can't ever let our guard down. We can't ever give up. We can't ever give up on our president. He was put in office supernaturally for a time such as this. And God is using him to accomplish his purposes. We never really knew that it was this bad until now. We never really knew how fake the traditional media is until now. We never knew necessarily about shadow governments and Illuminati and this whole system that has been put in place since like day one. And since President Trump has been put in, he is continuing to uncover, to shine a light on what is actually going on. So I would just like to thank you, President Trump, for putting yourself on the line and for doing this unselfishly to save America. And we also need to keep President Trump's family in prayer, because they take a lot of hits as well. They're just constantly under attack. The First Lady, Melania, she's a beautiful woman, and he has fantastic kids who are successful and ethical. And for them to walk away from the successes, from the life that they had in order to make America a better place, people, we really need to be thankful that they were willing to do this, because they didn't have to do this. They did not have to do this. So it's time to stand. It's time to stand up. It's time to be strong. And pray continuously. Because we're living in a time of unprecedented darkness, of evil. And the enemy knows that he has a short time. A very, very short time before this whole thing is over. And then it switches into another gear. And the church is out of here. When the church is out of here, then all hell is going to break loose. And the people that persist and having it their way and living in darkness and choosing to be blind. Those that persist, when the truth is right in front of them. When we have one last chance with a president that's doing everything that he can possibly do in record time, and you choose not to support him. And it doesn't matter if you're some liberal person out on the street, a millennial, a politician, whoever you are, we've got a short time left. So if you choose to stay in darkness, there's going to be hell to pay. And it's coming. Hell on earth is coming. So now is your time. Now is your time to support the president. Now is your time to stand up for America. And if you are somewhere in the middle and you're on the fence, or you're a Democrat, open your eyes. Open your eyes. If you're a young person and you've been believing this lie, you've been believing all this psychological stuff that they're teaching you in colleges, open your eyes to the truth, because the time is now. Thank you, President Trump, for everything you're doing. And God bless America.